subscribe to the channel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah! Ah, yes. Shout out to Latrell Mitchell for shouting out the coffee lounge. What a man. Latrell Mitchell is a legend. How are we, lads? Oh, what a day. Righto, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Nick from Australia 2023 NRL All-Stars predicted lineup. Now, what I'm going to be doing tonight, I'm going to be going through, in my opinion, the best 1 to 17 for the Indigenous and the Maori All-Stars. As we know, the All-Star game is right around the corner. It's coming up real soon. The squads will be announced within the next week or so. So I thought to myself, I think it's time to reveal the best 1 to 17 from both sides, the Indigenous All-Stars and the Maori All-Stars. And not long to this game, guys. February 11. It's a Saturday afternoon. It's a 3:45 kickoff. It's a 5:45 kickoff in New Zealand. So you've got the New Zealand Maoris up against the Indigenous All-Stars. At the the Rotorua International Stadium. It's going to be fantastic. So February 11, it's not that far away, the All-Star game between the Maoris and the Indigenous guys. I cannot wait for it. But ladies and gentlemen, before I get into tonight's live stream, I hope you guys are doing extremely well. It is Monday night, January 23rd, 2023. 7:36 p.m. for your Monday night. Hope everyone's doing well in the live chat. Hello to everyone in the chat. Hello to Cody Games PlayStation. Hello to CJ Moxley, Jason Reader. We got SS Stormfan here. We got Jason. Everyone's looking good here. We got TJC Sports in the live chat now. As we speak, the chat's starting to build up. It's looking good. Now, just so you guys know, a lot of people don't really. A lot of people are not too interested in the All-Star game, which I think is outrageous. I really do. In my honest opinion, the All-Star game is one of the most important NRL fixtures on the NRL calendar. It became a fixture. I believe it was 2009 or 2010 is when the All-Star game was first created by the idea of the great Preston Campbell. And it's been an annual fixture. I think one year the All-Star game didn't happen, but every other year the All-Star game has happened, and it's been a fantastic fixture. It's a very iconic. It's an iconic game. Look, I've been to an All-Star game. I went up to the one at the Gold Coast a couple of years ago. I think it was 2020. I was up there, up on the Gold Coast, and it was a great time. That was the game where Brendan Smith scored the 2 tries, and I think the Maori All-Stars won 30 points to 16. So I think the All-Star game is a very big fixture on the NRL calendar, and it's one that everyone needs to take seriously. And look, whether you support the Aboriginal All-Stars or you support the Maori All-Stars, or you're someone that sits on the fence and you don't care who wins, it's something that you got to get around. Everyone needs to get around it and support it. I think it's a phenomenal fixture. So without further ado, I'm going to go through the best 1 to 17 from both sides, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. There has been a few injuries. There has been a few players that aren't going to be available for both sides, but I've gone through them and I've given I've given it a good hard think this afternoon, and I've got the teams in front of me right here. So if I was the coach, this is what I think the best Indigenous side would be for the 2023 All-Star game. So we'll start with the Indigenous side. Fullback, Latrell Mitchell. On the wings, Alex Johnson and Josh Adokar. In the centres, Jesse Ramian and Selwyn Cobbo. In the halves, 5'8", Cody Walker. Halfback, Nico Hines. The front row of Ruben Cotter and Jermaine Tanua-Brown. The hooker is Tyrone Peachy. The second row is David Fafita and Josh Curran. The lock is Jack Bird. And on the bench, I've gone with Jack Whiten, Adam Elliott, Shaq Mitchell, and the experienced Wade Graham. That is, in my opinion, the best 1 to 17 for the Indigenous All-Stars. I think it's a very good side. Now, yes, they probably do lack a bit of class and quality in the forward pack. Ruben Cotter is probably the best prop for the Indigenous All-Stars. I think Tanua-Brown's a good addition there. Fafita, if he's on, he'll be great. Josh Curran, a very good player, and Jack Bird at lock as well. And then on the bench, guys like Adam Elliott can come on, play in the front row, play a bit of lock as well. Shaq Mitchell also come off the bench, play in the front row. I think he'll do a good job for him as well. Wade Graham, potentially his last All-Stars game. I guess we won't know anything until the end of the season if he retires or he plays on again. But this could be Wade Graham's last All-Star game. And Jack Whiten, whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench or not, I think putting Jack Whiten on the bench would be good. I think you start Latrell at fullback. It's a no-brainer. I think Cody Walker picks himself at 5'8". Nico Hines, halfback, pretty obvious as well there. So, look, I think it's a very good team. If I was the coach of the Indigenous All-Stars or if I was involved, I think that's the best 1 to 17. I know they'll have a couple of reserves like 18, 19, 20, and I'm pretty sure there's unlimited interchanges in the All-Star game. But for me, that is the best 1 to 17 for the Indigenous All-Stars for the 2023 All-Star game. Now, let's get to the Maori All-Stars. The Maori All-Stars, they are the home team. Let's get to the team that I've selected for them. Fullback, they've got Joseph Manu. On the wings, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak and Jordan Rapana. In the centres, Charles Nickel Klokstad and Peter Hiku. 5'8", Jerome Luai, halfback Jerome Hughes. The front row of James Fisher-Harris and Joseph Tarpany. The hooker is Brandon Smith. The second row is Britton Nakora and Kenny Bromwich. The lock is Dylan Walker. And on the bench, I've gone with Jeremy Marshall-King, Jesse Bromwich, Royce Hunt, and Jordan Ricky. I think that is the best Maori All-Star team. On paper, a lot of people have been talking about Patrick Herbert. I think Patrick Herbert done his ACL late last year. I don't think he's going to be available for the All-Star game. Some would say, what about Corey Harawira-Naera? Maybe 18, 19, 20. He'll be in the extended squad. Same with Cody Nikorima as well. I don't know. I just think this Maori All-Star team picks itself. I think Manu will be the fullback. I think Chance will have to play centers. Luai will be 6 if he plays. Jerome Hughes is the obvious halfback choice. Brendan Smith will be dummy half. I think Peter Hiku in the centers is also a good addition as well. DWZ, Rapana, a lot of great experience out wide there. The full pack's quality. But Fisher Harris, Tarpany, Nakora, Bromwich. Dylan Walker at 13, I think, would be a great thing as well for the Maori All-Stars. I think it would be a great addition. And off the bench, some experience there with Jesse Bromwich. You've got guys like Royce Hunt coming through that Cronulla Sharks system who had a fantastic year last year, and he's really come on the scene the last 12 months. Big Royce Hunt. And Jordan Ricky as well, a very good back rower at the Brisbane Broncos. Had a bit of a quiet year last year, so hopefully he bounces back in the form next year, but this year I should say. But Jordan Ricky's one, I think he'll probably be in the 17 somewhere. And Marshall King, I think he wants to show Wayne Bennett that he's the right man at dummy half for the Dolphins. So I think it's a good team. Now, on paper, having a look at what I've selected here, I think the Indigenous All-Stars have the better backline with Latrell, Cobbo, Ramian, Johnson, and Fox. I think that backline is better than Manu, Nickel Klokstad, Hiku, Rapana, and DWZ. I really do. I think the Indigenous All-Stars probably have the edge in the outside backs. In the halves, though, you've got Cody Walker and Nico Hines against Jerome Luai and Jerome Hughes. Now, it's a pretty even battle in the halves. It really is. You've got Luai and Hughes, who have both won a premiership, against Walker and Hines, who've never won a premiership. So, look, I think I'd probably give the edge to Luai and Hughes, but only slightly. I think Luai is probably better than Walker, and I think Hines is better than Hughes. So it's fairly even, but I'd probably give the edge there to the Maori All-Stars. So that's one apiece. And then you look at the forward pack. I mean, you've got Fisher Harris, Brendan Smith, Tarpany Nakora, Kenny Bromwich, Dylan Walker. That is an elite pack, man. Up against Cotter, Peachy, Tanua Brown, Fafita, Curran, and Bird. I think the Maori All-Stars definitely have the better forward pack. I think they have the edge in that department. So the Maori All-Stars, for me, on paper, and I think in general, they have a better forward pack than the Indigenous All-Stars. So that's 2-1 to the Maori All-Stars, as in breaking it all down. And we get to the bench. We've got what? Maori All-Stars have got Jeremy Marshall-King, Jesse Bromwich, Royce Hunt, and Jordan Ricky, up against the Indigenous bench that I've selected in Jack White and Adam Elliott, Shaq Mitchell, Wade Graham. I probably lean towards the Maori All-Stars bench as well, but just because the Indigenous All-Stars have the better backs doesn't mean they can't win. They can still win. I think it's an even match, and look, I could be way off with these teams. I could be on the money, but I think these are fairly predicted to happen. I think majority of the team I selected from both sides are going to be pretty close to what happens in reality. So it's going to be interesting to see how it does plan out. But I'm pretty keen for this All-Star game, February 11. We've got just over 2 weeks until it happens. I think it's 2 weeks from Saturday now, so not long until the All-Star game gets underway. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a bit different as well. Having it in New Zealand, it'll be a 3:45 kickoff in the afternoon here in Australia, 2:45 if you're in Queensland as well. So it's a really different and strange time to have the All-Star game on. It does feel a bit strange, but I think everyone's going to get around it and watch the All-Star game. It's a big game. The Maori All-Stars up against the Indigenous All-Stars. When the squads do get released, I will do a reaction to it. I'll be doing a bit of a review on the squads when they do get announced. But I think the team I named for the Indigenous All-Stars and the Maori All-Stars is probably the best 1 to 17 you're going to get for the All-Star game. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But fellas, thank you all so much for tuning into tonight's live stream. If you did enjoy the stream, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. That's my predicted 1 to 17 for the All-Star game. Until then, everyone, enjoy your Monday night, and I'll see you guys in the next one for another stream. Have a good one.